going to pronounce it that way because I like that name more. As a prince of some land. He's a very good-looking chap. Good. He is dressed very well and is the last...
I look like I'm distracted, but I'm sending you, before we forget, the 2 classes that we were considering so we can pick one of those. I just messaged Carla about it as well.
Okay, cool. What was I saying? He was very good-looking.
Good. I like him already.
Yes. Obviously, this is the 1600s. Things aren't going to be progressive. So they're like, he's very good-looking and talks very well.
Only beats his wife once a day.
It's not even that. It's just like he acts like a white person.
Okay.
It's like, okay. But he's very well-spoken and all that, and respected and liked, very charismatic type. He's the last in the line for succession, but everyone else dies. So there's him and his grandfather, essentially. The father's already gone,
right?
Essentially. And he ends up being saved by a general at a war who dies for him, essentially, taking an arrow in the eye, I think.
Oh, yeah.
A bit insane.
Harold Godwin style, isn't it?
But they beat that other tribe, and they go over to that tribe, and they realize that, like, the one that they just beat, like, the princess, or I don't exactly know what her label would be, but her name's Imoinda, I think.
Imoinda, okay.
Imoinda. Something like that.
Okay.
And she's the most gorgeous woman in the world, essentially. So I think she's also probably African. Like, I think we're looking at the Moors. They don't really say where they are at the beginning, I don't think.
Okay.
But yeah, one of the most gorgeous women out there, and also said, like, even white men want to sleep with her. It's like,
okay, yeah.
All right.
So this is very race-based.
Oh, it's very race-based.
Do I trust people in the 1600s to write about race? That's the real question.
No. So Aphrodite, like, she's also... There's so much context about her that's interesting. Like, she was a spy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She was a spy for the king. She was a huge royalist and all that. There's debate whether or not she ever went to Suriname. She knows what was happening there, but it might have just been from other books or stories and stuff.
Oh, that's fine.
Things like that, yeah. But yeah, so his grandfather also loves her after hearing about her and seeing her. So even though she's now betrothed to Oroonoko...
The grandfather wants her.
Yes. And essentially... What is it called? They basically send people to go take her, and if you say no to the king, you die.
Of course.
If you ever touch her, you die. Anything like that. So she basically goes to the grandfather, and Oroonoko's like, I can't do anything about this, because even though I'm the prince, it doesn't, like, the laws still affect me. I could maybe get away with banishment, but that's it. So
does she have a free choice in who she goes with?
Oh, not at all.
No, of course.
Of course not. That's completely expected.
What a silly question.
Yeah, I know, right? Come on, 1600s, and we're talking about, like, slavery and stuff here. So she's essentially like the youngest wife of his, but he's also old and impotent.
Of course.
So at least for Oroonoko, he's like, well, he has her, but he can't do anything to her, at least. So there's that. He does eventually go and see her, and even sneaks into her room at night, and, like, then he has to, of course, he gets caught and has to run away. Is known to have ravished her or something, like, stuff like... He doesn't ravish her because it was consensual. It was not consensual for the grandfather.
But she... Okay.
She consented completely.
Right.
Because she's like, I love you, I want to marry you, and not your grandfather. No, the grandfather kind of, except he doesn't maybe touch her. I don't think he touches her.
Okay.
Which is good. Although he does have her naked in a few scenes. It seems like. Right, we're like 10 pages in.
Okay.
15 pages or something. Yeah, a lot happens. So he has to flee, and essentially what he's told is that, right, because she has been touched by you, she has been killed.
God, right.
Yeah, well, of course, that's what should have happened. Except secretly, she's sent off as a slave. Because at that time, being sent off as a slave is considered a worse fate
Than being killed.
So he
Arguably still.
Yeah. So he kind of goes off and drinks with some slave traders. Don't know why.
In the normal way.
And then, of course, gets captured like a slave.
Oh no!
It's like, who'd have thought that the slave traders would capture you and try to sell you?
This sounds like it's following our rule of, like, the shorter the book, the more happens in it.
Yes.
Like, more has happened in these 65 pages than in Clarissa. I can already tell.
Hold on. More in the first page and a half?
Oh, God.
Maybe? No, I'm just comparing to Clarissa and taking the piss.
Clarissa could have been a play. Like, it did not need to be...
Yeah. So the book slows down here, though.
Oh, okay.
They're at a plantation, and he's knowledgeable, so he's treated well enough. And then, essentially, hears, there's this really beautiful slave here. And it turns out it's a person who's betrothed to. So that's fantastic. The owner of her is like, I had to actually stop myself from ravaging her.
At least he'd stopped himself.
Or he was stopped by other people, at least. Or
that's
either way, he was stopped.
Okay.
And so she wasn't affected negatively by that, at least.
Good.
But then there's a little bit of just life on the plantation for another 20 pages.
Okay, so it pads it out a bit here.
There's a bit of padding that was a little bit unnecessary. Then they start a revolt.
Okay.
So Oroonoko and Moinda and some of the slaves start a revolt against the plantation owners, and they're, of course, being terribly treated. And they do quite well until at some point they lose, essentially.
Okay.
And I forget the exact order of events here. I don't know if they're captured or what. But Oroonoko is out with his now wife and her newborn baby. And they're like, well, if we go back at all or found, we're dead. So he kills both of them. She also agrees to this. She's like, if I go back, I'm going to be ravaged, and they're going to make my son grow up in this terrible system. So she happily dies.
Okay.
So
that's sad.
Very sad. Also, I didn't even mention that they changed their names in this to Oroonoko to Caesar. Oh. And then Imoinda to Clemene, or Clement. I don't know who that's in reference
Clemene?
to.
Okay.
So that was kind of interesting. Then he, of course, gets captured, and I don't even know. So much happens to him. He basically gets stabbed or fatally wounded, essentially, and then treated again. And then they hang him up on like a post to whip him, and essentially, like, at the very, very end here, I'm just going to read what they say. He had learned to take tobacco, and when he was assured he should die, he desired they would give him a pipe in his mouth, ready lighted, which they did, and the executioner came and first cut off his members.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And threw them into the fire. After that, with an ill-favored knife, they cut his ears and his nose, and burned them. He still smoked on, as if nothing had touched him. Then they hacked off one of his arms, and still he bore up and held his pipe. But at the cutting of the other arm, his head sunk, and his pipe dropped, and he gave up the ghost without a groan or a reproach. My mother and sister were by him all the while, but not suffered to save him, so rude and wild were the rabble, and so inhumane were the justices, who stood by to see the execution, who after paid dearly enough for their insolence. They cut Caesar in quarters, and sent them to several of the chief plantations. One quarter was sent to this person who refused it, and swore he'd rather see the quarters of Bannister and the governor himself than those of Caesar on his plantations.
It's weird that it's Caesar now, but...
Yeah. Thus died this great man, worthy of a better fate and a more sublime wit than mine to write his praise. Yet I hope the reputation of my pen is considerable enough to make his glorious name to survive to all ages with that of the brave, the beautiful, and the constant Imoinda.
Okay. Let's give it a yeah.
That gets a yeah. This is the only story